So basically, yeah, I like to start out with like an outline for my blogs, and I usually literally just call it like outline. So I think one thing that I'm gonna want to talk about is like, so there's like always some kind of like hook that you want to start out anything with, but specifically blogs. So a hook that I think could be interesting for this thing is, and I was thinking about this while I was on the walk, is like, what is the optimal content creation flywheel? That's a pretty good hook, right? Because you're just like, that's something where it's like, what is the optimal content creation flywheel, right? Like, you don't really know what that is. So then you can kind of open up with saying, kind of addressing the problem. So there's the problem is that there are fractured social media it sucks to own your own website. And then we have to talk about a little bit about like, why would we bother in the first place? And I think, the nice part about an outline too is that you can kind of like get a high level view of where your thoughts are at without actually committing to anything. It's really easy to just take stuff in and out depending on how you feel about it as you go further on into the process, which is nice. So why would we bother to create in the first place? I think the biggest thing to talk about here, and probably the only thing that's worth it for this post, is nonlinear gains. And then, maybe like an introduction to flywheels. And this could also include the clip of me talking about the carbon cycle. So yeah, okay, so why bother to create the nonlinear gains, the fractured social media, how it sucks to own your own website, invisibility online. First, way too much visibility. It's always one or the other. And I think that this actually opens up the things about like, kind of like publicity versus privacy. Publicity versus privacy. Why would we bother to create, the nonlinear gains and introduction to flywheels and cycles? And then my hypothesis. Actually, yeah, I can also introduce this up here because I think this is like a TLDR hypothesis. The TLDR hypothesis is to take advantage of what social media businesses do, and keep in mind that you are a business and a content license. Holy fuck. Licensor. Oh no. Oh, I cannot spell. Lice in sore. I probably should have figured that out. No, that's good. TLDR is fine. Take advantage of what social media businesses do and keep in mind that you are a business and content licensor. Yeah, I think that's cool. And there's also a good video that I have that I'm literally thinking of. Hank Green on financial podcast. The financial diet. Yeah, here we we go. Here we go. This is a really good video. As a matter of fact, I think that I'm going to just end the stream by watching this video, because I think that that's a pretty good content in and of itself. So let's highlight this bad boy and then do that. Oh, you see I'm learning. Why can't I do that? I thought I could do that. Whatever. Whatever. Okay, so the hypothesis is above, but basically split into larger frameworks of thought. It's going to look something like the source is your own website, and then the process is on Twitch, like the making of, basically. The Sawdust, which is a model from Rework. I think that is from Rework. Yeah, quotes. It's like the floor or something. Maybe it wasn't Rework. Oh, Show Your Work? Honestly, hold on. I have this in my Obsidian on my phone, and I can just use that. Cutting floor. Search. Opening Obsidian. Indexing Vault. Oh shit. Yeah, Show Your Work. Once a day after you've done your work, go back to your documentation and find one little piece of your process that you can share. The shareable bits of the process. YouTube for clips and VODs. And then shareable bits of the process, and then the final product, which is different for everybody, but for me it's going to also be hosted on my own website, and specifically be kind of like scrolly telling, which this one will be a scrolly tell, hopefully. With pictures and stuff like that. I don't know how hard I can go with the data on this one, because I'm still very much learning all of that stuff, but maybe I'll be able to make something small. I don't know. I think that maybe I can like kind of put in parentheses what I think a scroll thing would look like. So you have the hook, you have the problem, you have the bot, why bother to create, and then you have your call to action. I like to generally keep things short. So this is like a link to the VOD of building this, you know, link to GitHub. Yeah, that's good. Okay, link to GitHub, and then that hopefully will, you know, the hypothesis. Oh yeah. So then, how this becomes a flywheel. Okay, so I think the visual is that this one is that, like, it's just like an empty store that you spend all this time building. And this is like publicity versus privacy, which is like kind of, you know, I think the privacy is like on the internet. Let's say like you don't exist unless you post. Non-linear gains. I think that like how much have you been influenced by stuff you see on the internet? This very page is something on the internet. It all makes $0 or $1 million. It's a lottery that you can influence and create from nothing. I think a picture of the visuals, the flywheel here of this. This could actually be a interesting little animation of like of Twitch, or maybe just like, you know, I'm saying of streaming video, own website. Let me just say final product. Yeah, cool. I don't really want to. This isn't really. Yeah, that's not really great for this. Why should we bother to create non-linear gains? How much have you been influenced by stuff on the internet? Meet people through time and space. Hypothesis is, you know, let's take a deep dive. I like storytelling. I think it's a really cool thing to do. The process is in the making of is on Twitch because coding and writing are done on a computer. So it's just opening the process of what's happening. Yeah. And then I could talk about what I'm doing with Obsidian, researching and building MOCs around a topic. And then most of this will, at least in the initially, will be initially built off stream. But yeah, and then yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It's pretty cool. I think that a part of a hypothesis is maybe like establish control, and I can show analytics from my website. What happens after you know #1 on HN, and what happens if you don't continuously post or update your newsletter. I think that let's see, flywheel. An amazing biz model that has me totally captured. The chillness of the whole affair versus hyper editing. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I like that. So I'm going to now say that that is also done in my today note, and then I'm going to watch this video on